Good day, I'm Dr. T. Welcome to my office. Okay, so it is summer and I am teaching online asynchronous classes again this summer. And of course, this summer, unlike last summer, I've got ChatGPT to deal with. And well, I had an idea and it seems to be working okay. Not great, it's definitely not a perfect idea, but it's an idea. So typically for summer courses, what I liked to do, at least in the past, and you're going to see why this is in the past here shortly, is I like to give students a lot of kind of essay questions where they have a limited period of time. So this is handled through the quiz feature of the learning management system. And by limited, I mean like 10, 15 minutes, where I give them a question, such as, explain buffers and the relationships between buffers and Le Chatelier's principle, or something like that. And then, well, their answer would be to explain buffers and its relationship to Le Chatelier's principle, or something like that. And from that, I'm like, okay, so if they understand buffers and they understand Le Chatelier's, then I'm going to look for several key things: weak acid, weak base, equilibrium, disturbing equilibrium. You get the idea. And, well, with ChatGPT being a thing now, they could just take that question, stick it in ChatGPT, and get an okay answer to that. And as such, great. Now, they didn't actually answer the question. They can do that real quick, real easy, and it gives a pretty good answer. So I'm like, okay, so I cannot ask these questions anymore. Technology has progressed. This is not going to work. Additionally, let's just be honest, AI is not going anywhere. I don't know what the future of ChatGPT is going to be, but somebody is going to have some product that does basically the same thing forevermore. And I don't want to be one of those people who's like, well, you won't have your calculator with you all the time. Like, yeah, I will. So, weird bells aside, that's my clock. How am I going to do this? Because I need to revamp this question to make it ChatGPT resistant, but also I need to start rethinking how we do life now that AI has gotten good. And so one of my thoughts is, okay, so depending on where AI goes, and we don't know where AI is going, we don't know what the future will hold. You only know your tech tree once you've completed the tech tree. We don't know what the future tech tree is. But if AI doesn't progress too much further, I'm not betting on that, but that's the best I can do right now because I don't know what it will be, because that's in the future. We don't know the future. But if the AI doesn't progress too much further, then one of the kind of thoughts of the way we will use AI in society may well be that we have AI start out and rough out, basically create the rough draft, and then we go through and start editing that draft. Did AI include the right information? Did it include right facts? Change the things that it's got wrong? Add areas where it needs a little bit more nuance or a little bit more fleshing out, etc. So like, okay, if that's how we're going to use AI in the future, which who knows how we're going to use it in the future, but that is my first guess of how we use AI in the future that doesn't just replace all humans. ChatGPT grays, humans need not apply, may still apply. Oh, I hope not. That's scary. But with that scenario, then the obvious question for me to ask the students is to have them do just that. Take that prompt about buffers and Le Chatelier's or whatever else we're dealing with and chuck that into ChatGPT. Take the answer, put that as part of the question too. So my questions are literally set up as kind of 3 blocks. First is, hey, this is a prompt and answer from ChatGPT. It's not perfect, make it better, please. The second block is my prompt. And the third one, the largest by far, is ChatGPT's answer. And then the students are asked to comment on this. What would they change? How would they make this better? And I tell them right now, you don't have to rewrite it. You can just put a bulleted list. One student actually cut and pasted it and then typed in their answers and bolded their edits, which at first I thought they were cheating until I realized what they were doing and why some of it was bolded and some of it wasn't. It was like, oh, that's what they're doing. Hey, this works perfectly good. It's a great way to answer the question. I'm very much with my students, like, achieve the goal. I don't care how you do it. Just get there. As long as it's, you're not cheating kind of thing. And so several of them took several different interpretations. Some students are doing really well. Some students, well, I think this is adding some rigor. Actually, I think it's a really hard question. But, some of them are answering it really well. Some of them are, answering they're filling a couple small holes, but it's clear that their mastery is not where they would like it to be or where I'd like their mastery to be. But hey, that's normal. Some students are going to master content. Some students are going to struggle more in content. Obviously, I want to help those students as best I can, but that does happen. Okay, so I think I've got an approach. Now, I've also seen some downsides. The downsides right off the bat, sometimes ChatGPT does too good of an answer. That buffer question, that's one of several versions of that I was trying to ask it to get a prompt where they could add to it. The problem was, it did too good of a job. There was no way that I could think of writing that prompt to get a response back that had holes in it that met learning objectives for their level. Keep in mind, this is a first year non-majors course. It's GOB chemistry. And so, I'm not asking them to deep dive into quantum physics or some kind of advanced calculus or anything. So ChatGPT was giving me an answer as good or better than what I expect from them, and there was no gaps on that one. So I ended up just getting rid of that quiz. I'm like, you know what? I want to quiz buffers and acid base, but you know what? I've still got the online homework. This is just going to have to be part of the online homework. They're still doing a concept mapped over this. This is not my only assessment, but this is just not going to work because ChatGPT is doing way too good of an answer, and maybe I could edit it again, but I go to ChatGPT and just get a correct answer kind of thing. So it's like, there's not much I can do with this particular one. So that's one of the downsides, is that it's actually a lot harder to write questions now. The first ones were not hard to write a question. Those were just like, okay, what are my learning objectives? And I actually give the students all their learning objectives coming up front so they know what their learning objectives are. Like, okay, how can I take 2 or 3 learning objectives and ask a question that really kind of tests their knowledge on 2 or 3 learning objectives? And then stick 2, 3 of those questions into a quiz, give them half hour, 45 minutes or whatever. That was not hard to do. This is not hard to do until you start reading over those questions, because you got to read the ChatGPT's response. And it's like, okay, is there room? How are the students going to be editing this? What is the correct answer going to look like? Because when you're making a quiz, you got to start from the end. You got to know what the correct answer looks like before you give it to the students. Otherwise, you can get in some really big pickles when this, like, there is no correct answer. Like, whoops. Or that correct answer is just, there's no way a student's going to get that. So I'm going through that. I'm looking to see, okay, what are the things that needs to be changed here? How are the students going to answer this? And some of the times, like, there is no way for the students to answer this correctly. The ChatGPT didn't leave holes. Now, most of the time I was able to rework the prompt, kind of change exactly what I was asking, and I would get some holes the second time around or fourth time around. A couple of times ChatGPT just gave me like absolutely wrong answers. There's at least 2 of my quizzes that have a fourth part, which is hint, quote, close quote, is objectively wrong. So it's like, hint, this part, the entire premise of ChatGPT's answer is just wrong. Now go fix it. So there is kind of that interesting caveat to it. Yeah, it seems to be working. It is not a perfect response. I don't know better solutions yet. I'm working on this. We're all working on this. If you've got better ways to make kind of ChatGPT proof answers for heavily knowledge-based courses, chuck those into the comment section. Just general ideas for how to make better questions in a world where AI is a thing. Chuck those in the comments. Love reading your comments. Look forward to seeing what you got to say. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.